Okay, so here is a character my son Simon made. His name is Bobrick. He's a paladin, dragonborn. He's chaotic neutral. We'll get into that later if I haven't already. You can look at all of his skill sets. His skill traits here. His strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And he has a 16 for strength, so that's a +3 modifier, right? So +3. He's got a 13 for dexterity, so that's a +1 modifier. Constitution is 10 +0. Intelligence is 12 +1. Wisdom is 11, which is 0. And charisma is 15, which is +2. These are all things that we have to deal with in terms of our proficiencies and saving throws, right? So here's the proficiency bonus if you're level 1. It's +2. And so on any kind of saving throw, you want to include, for a saving throw that might be strength, so for instance, there's an avalanche, and in order to survive this, you need to roll a certain number. And you get to add, and this is a strength, so you get to add your strength modifier, which is +3, and your proficiency, your strength, which is +3. Because he chose, his character as a paladin, right? Wisdom and charisma are his 2 saving throw proficiencies. So because of his character and his choices, these are 2 where he's going to have an advantage. So he's going to add his wisdom, which is 0, so that doesn't really help, but so that to his proficiency. So that would be, he adds 2 to that, right? Because that's the proficiency here. Strength is only a +3. This isn't something that he's really part of one of the saving throws that he's particularly efficient at. Dexterity is +1. Just adding the Constitution, +0. Intelligence is +1. Wisdom is 0, but it also, you add proficiency bonus to that as well. So had this been like a 2 or 3, he would have added this to this. So he is +2 here. And charisma, which is +2. And since this is something he's proficient in, it'd be another 2, so that's +4. Now, the same thing goes down here, which is the skills, right? Your character or your profession is going to have a certain amount of skill proficiency. And so these are things they're good at. So for instance, you may be good at basketball or soccer. So your proficiency in that might be greater than somebody else's. So you get an advantage on that. I know most of you could probably run better than I can, so you would get an advantage on that. So the advantage is your proficiency. So he's proficient in athletics. So he gets to add both this proficiency and the strength bonus. So anything that involves athletic skill checks, he gets +5. Medicine is wisdom, right? He has no additional wisdom here, but he does get a proficiency of +2, right? Perception is wisdom, right, which is 0, so he gets the proficiency bonus of +2. And persuasion, which is charisma, which is he is +2, you add that to the proficiency bonus, so he gets +4 on that. Everything else is just the modifier that it's based around. So acrobatics would be based around dexterity, right? So dexterity for him is a +1. So all he does is put a +1 there. Animal handling is wisdom. That's 0 for him, right? He's got no additional wisdom here. Arcana is intelligence, which for this character is +1, right? But athletics, because that's based on strength, he gets +3, plus it's an area that he's proficient in, so that's an additional +2, so that's +5. So charisma would be another +2. He's not proficient in it, but that is his modifier for something with charisma. History is intelligence, but so that's +1. Insight is based on wisdom, so any kind of skill that requires some kind of insight, he has to check against his wisdom modifier, which is 0, which has a modifier of 0, so that's 0. Intimidation is based around charisma, so say you're interacting with a character and you want to try and intimidate them into doing what you want, and there's a difficulty level of that, so you roll the dice, and you get to add 2 to whatever the result is. So say you have a character that you want to intimidate, and there's a difficulty of 15, right? And this is a D20, right? So most of these are based on a roll of a D20 or 20-sided die. So you roll a d20 and you get a 13. You get to add, because for intimidation, you get to add +2 to that, right? Because that's your modifier, right? Because intimidation is based on charisma, the trait of charisma. And so you get to add 2 to 13, so that gives you 15, and that's enough to be successful with your intimidation. Investigation is intelligence, which is +1. Once again, medicine, he's something proficient in, and this is based on wisdom, which is 0, but because he's proficient, he gets to add his proficiency bonus as +2. And by the way, as you gain levels, your proficiency bonus increases. So, level 4 or 5, this might be 3, upwards of that, it's 3, it's 4 or 5. Nature is based on intelligence, which is +1. Once again, perception, which is based on wisdom, although he doesn't have a modifier that's more than 0, he does get to add his proficiency bonus, so that's +2. Performance is based on charisma, which was +2. Persuasion is +4 because it's based on charisma, so that's +2, and plus he's chosen this as an area that he's proficient in, so you add the proficiency bonus of +2, giving him +4. Religion is based on intelligence, which for this character is +1. Sleight of hand is based on dexterity, which is a +1. Stealth is based on dexterity, which is another +1, and then survival is based on wisdom, which for him is a 0. So certain things that you do in this game will require you to be to assert certain skills. So you're trying to sneak up on somebody, it would be stealth, and so it might be a difficulty level of 10. So you would roll a d20, and if you get a 9, or any number you get, you add +1 to, but you get to add 1 to it. So this could put you over the edge for being successful or not, right? So hopefully this helps.